Let's go over my 7 favorite typefaces for sports graphics that you can download directly from Adobe fonts. You should have access to Adobe fonts through your Adobe subscription. These are free for commercial and personal use. With any of these that we go over, you can just type in the name of the font. You should be able to find the whole font family, the whole typeface, and install it directly through your Adobe account. The first typeface we'll look at today is Termina. Termina you've probably seen me use in a good amount of graphics if you've been following the channel for a while. I tend to use the boldest version that it comes in, which is this Termina Black, but you can also see these different weights all the way from thin up to black, so you can get a good variety. It's a very wide font, which I like a lot, and so if you just have like a single word or repeating text, it can work really well at just filling space both horizontally and stacking text vertically. Really clean letter forms, pretty basic, but a really versatile, kind of well-rounded font family that you can go with. Next up, we have Acumen, and specifically Acumen Variable, or Acumen Variable Concept. This just has so many different font families and weights within the greater Acumen worlds. You have all these different weights for like a normal version. You have semi-condensed, you have condensed, you have extra condensed, and there's also a wide version. All of these weights tend to go from thin to ultra black. So there's just like a ton of different use cases, all the way from headers to paragraph text you might be using in your graphics. So if you want the most bang for your buck in terms of just keeping one font family for an entire graphic, but really changing up the way it feels in different areas, Acumen is a great choice. Next up, we have Canada. Canada looks similar to Acumen when you're using, specifically this is the extra condensed ultra black italic Acumen. Canada also has an italic form and a non-italic. You're not getting nearly the same range as you get with Acumen, but Canada is a little bit tighter, a little bit closer together. You get fewer weights, but I tend to like their letter forms a little bit better than what you get from Acumen. Numbers tend to look really good. You can see this 88 typed out. They're all very clean numbers, very tight. Next up, we have Eurostyle, and Eurostyle comes in a regular version and Eurostyle Extended, which I also really like. And again, with sports graphics, I'm gonna lean towards the bolder letter forms, but it is nice to have a typeface that gives you the option to go skinnier letters just so you can have some variety with like your headings and subheadings. So this Eurostyle Extended, if we wanted to crank this up to black, you can see that has a really nice feel. The repeating game day text, again, we saw that in previous examples, but wanted to give you a feel for how you can use it in a graphic. And then this contrast using Eurostyle Medium and then Eurostyle Black. Pretty good variety with this typeface, while again, keeping things consistent and allowing you to get some versatility out of the graphic as well. Next up, we have Octin. Octin is our first font that we're looking at that has these like kind of classic sports angled edges to the letters and the numbers too. The numbers, I wrote these all out because they're a little funky looking. Like I don't love the 2 and the 5 in particular, but depending on the number you're using, like I think the 7, 8, 9, and 0 all look pretty good. 1 is solid, 3 is good, 4 is good. I just kind of flag 2, 5, and 6. They don't look super clean to me, just a little bit odd in their proportions, but that's okay. And then they also have this weird funky stuff. They've got this like spray paint type font that you can choose. They've got this stencil one. This one's called Octin Sports Regular, and it just kind of gives everything these slab serifs on the edges. So another thing you can play with. Next, we'll look at Prohibition, another kind of angled, blocky font. This one's a little bit cleaner than Octin, but unfortunately, this is the only font weight that comes with Adobe fonts. So like there's no light version, there's no super bold version. This is what you get, so it's a little bit more limiting, but I will say the numbers look a lot cleaner in my opinion. So I'd be comfortable using all the numbers 0 to 9. I wrote them all out for you so you can check them out. So like in a vacuum, if I'm just choosing one word to display in one of these blockier angled fonts, I would probably use Prohibition over Octin, but Octin might give you a little bit more versatility in the different weights that it brings. Like you can do a much thinner font as opposed to the bold font as well. Now the last typeface we'll look at today is called Industry. Industry I really like using. I like it for numbers, I like it for letters. Again, leaning towards the bolder, black, or ultra weights. You can see it's got this nice blend of some curve going on, but overall like pretty straight and rigid letter forms. This could even work as a body text font if you go with a thinner, lighter weight, but I really like this bold or black style for headings and titles for graphics. Those are the 7 typefaces I have for you today. All 7 can look really good in sports graphics, assuming you use them correctly. Let me know which ones are your favorite, have fun experimenting, and as always, let me know if you have any questions.